The Viking and the Templar. The sun hung low on the horizon, its fading light painting the forest with hues of gold and red. The year was 1123, and deep within the dense woods of northern France, two warriors collided in a clash of steel and fury. On one side was Rurik, a hulking Viking raider with a wild mane of auburn hair and a braided beard. His axe, a fearsome weapon forged in the cold fires of the north, gleamed with battle-hardened edges. On the other stood Sir Geoffrey of Clermont, a Templar knight, clad in a white surcoat emblazoned with a crimson cross. His long sword and shield were raised, his stance calm and disciplined. The battle had begun hours earlier when Rurik, separated from his band of Norse raiders, stumbled upon a small chapel guarded by the lone knight. The Viking, desperate and wounded from a skirmish, sought refuge. But Geoffrey had mistaken him for a marauder intent on desecrating the sacred grounds. "You shall not profane this holy place, heathen," Geoffrey had declared, sword drawn. Rurik, snarling through gritted teeth, had responded in kind. "You wear the cross, but I have seen no mercy in your kind." And so they fought. The clash of cultures. The forest rang with the sound of their weapons, the Viking's axe crashing against the Templar's shield, the knight's sword striking sparks from the axe's iron. Geoffrey moved with precision, each strike deliberate, while Rurik fought with raw ferocity, each swing of his axe fueled by adrenaline and rage. "You fight well, knight," Rurik growled, circling Geoffrey, "but your god will not save you today." "Perhaps not," Geoffrey replied, his voice steady, "but I do not fight for myself. I fight for the honor of God and the innocents you and your kind have terrorized." Rurik laughed, a deep, guttural sound. "Innocents? The world is full of wolves and sheep. Your God asks you to protect the weak. Mine teaches me to conquer." Their blades clashed again, neither gaining the upper hand. Rurik feinted left, his axe carving an arc through the air, but Geoffrey anticipated the move, deflecting the blow and landing a glancing strike on Rurik's arm. The Viking staggered, blood trickling from the wound. He clenched his teeth, gripping his axe tighter. "I've fought worse than you, knight." "And I have faced men stronger than you, Viking," Geoffrey retorted, his breathing measured. "But strength alone does not decide the victor." The turning point. As their duel raged on, the sounds of battle drew the attention of a pack of wolves that prowled the forest. Hungry and emboldened by the scent of blood, the beasts emerged from the shadows, their yellow eyes gleaming in the twilight. Rurik and Geoffrey froze as the wolves circled them, their snarls breaking the tension of the fight. The leader, a massive black wolf, lunged first, aiming for Geoffrey's throat. Without hesitation, Rurik swung his axe, striking the beast mid-air and sending it crashing to the ground. Geoffrey didn't hesitate either. He stepped forward, shield raised, and bashed another wolf that lunged at Rurik's back. The two warriors, moments ago locked in mortal combat, now fought side by side against the common threat. The battle was brutal. Geoffrey's sword cut through the pack with precision, while Rurik's axe cleaved the beasts with raw power. Blood soaked the ground as the wolves fell one by one, until the surviving members of the pack retreated into the forest, their howls fading into the distance. The forest grew quiet once more, save for the heavy breathing of the two warriors. Geoffrey lowered his sword, leaning against a tree, while Rurik slumped to the ground, his axe resting across his knees. "You saved me," Geoffrey said, breaking the silence. "And you saved me," Rurik replied, wiping blood from his face. "Perhaps your god is watching after all." A meeting of minds. As they rested, Rurik studied Geoffrey. The knight's calm demeanor and unwavering faith intrigued him. "Why do you fight for a god who lets your people die in battle? Where is his strength?" Geoffrey met his gaze. "Our god's strength is not measured in victories on the battlefield. It lies in sacrifice, in protecting the innocent, in seeking a world of peace." "Peace," Rurik scoffed. "A foolish dream. My people fight because it is the only way to survive. Strength is all the world understands." Geoffrey nodded. "Perhaps, but even the strongest man cannot escape death. What then? Does your strength mean anything when you stand before the divine?" Rurik was silent for a moment, staring at his axe. "In my youth I prayed to your god," he admitted, his voice low. "A monk came to our village and spoke of forgiveness, of salvation. I believed him. But when our enemies came, my prayers were met with silence. I abandoned your god and turned to the old ways." Geoffrey frowned. Perhaps your prayers were not answered in the way you expected, but he does not abandon those who seek him. Rurik looked at him, his blue eyes filled with doubt. And what of me? I have killed, pillaged, done things that no god would forgive. Can I still be saved, knight? Geoffrey stood and offered his hand. Our God's mercy is boundless, but salvation is a choice. You must decide whether to seek it. A new path. The two men parted ways at dawn. Geoffrey returned to the chapel, his faith reaffirmed by the encounter, while Rurik walked deeper into the forest, the knight's words echoing in his mind. For the first time in years, Rurik did not feel the weight of his axe as he carried it. Instead, he felt the weight of his choices and the possibility of redemption.